I'm going to give you all some examples of how a narcissistic person is mentally stuck in their past. This is how I was mentally stuck in my past. There were a couple of things that happened. And, when my cousins used to kiss me, what they used to do is grab my face. Come here, little boy. Come here, kiss me. Just grab. And then I was in the first grade, so they put sucker bites all on my neck, my cheeks, my head. And I told my first grade teacher, Miss Tiller, I'll never forget. And I went to school that morning. I had lost a tooth, so my mother put money under my pillow for the tooth fairy. So I grabbed the money, went in my sister's bedroom where my cousins were, and I was like, "Hey, can we go to the store when I come home from school?" And I saw them look at me, and they froze. It was early in the morning. Slammed me on the bed, started kissing me, grabbed my face. I remember bleeding, going to school bleeding, and my teacher asked me what happened, and I told her I got jumped, but she knew I didn't get jumped. But I remember hugging her, and my mouth was bleeding because I lost my tooth. And what happened was that as I got older, I just couldn't stand for a woman to grab my face. I couldn't stand. I know women like beers. My ex-girlfriends, they always want to kiss and chew on my face, but I couldn't stand it. It wasn't that they weren't grabbing it hard, but it's just the fact that I was like, I felt suffocated. And so that's how it affected me getting older. I didn't want a woman to grab my face. It just took me back to my cousins grabbing my face. Another incident was every time I was molested or by my babysitter or my uncle was putting his hands in my pants, they used to go, shh, shh. I had another cousin that was always kissing me too, make me slide up under the bed while she was on top of the bed and look down, and the bed was between another bed, and I would be in between the beds looking up, and she would grab me and kiss me, and she would go, shh. So as I got older, I was never verbal when I was having sex. A lot of women say, "Leon, did you enjoy it? You were quiet. I didn't hear it." And I'm like, I did. I couldn't explain to them. I'm like, I did. I really did. I'm sorry, but I did. But they should tell me I was quiet all the time, and it stuck with me, And when my uncle was touching me, he said, "Shh, don't you?" He grabbed me, but not say nothing. And so I got quiet when there was anything related to sex. There was never any penetration from the male figure, but he would touch me and tell me to be quiet. When I was playing house with my babysitter, she made me a father, and we had make-believe kids. And so it was always, we set the house up. I come home from work in my parents' basement. She would babysit me, but I would come home from work playing house, and she'd come home from work, and we sit on the couch, watch TV, and then boom, we start having sex. So that affected me later on in life because I wasn't intimate. And I promise you, every girl I met within the first few days, first few weeks is like sex. It wasn't like, starting to be intimate in the kitchen or the car, hugging, holding hands, cuddling, and leading up to it. It was always sit down, watch TV. Hey, you horny? Boom, sex. So that's how these things I talk about, how people are 10 years old when they're 30, 40, 50. This is how they become mentally paralyzed in their childhood. At least it was for me, and how I related to a woman being hurt. We were at my uncle's party one night, and my uncle got into it. I don't know why, but he punched my mother in the mouth and knocked her teeth out. And I ran in there to my mother. I was in there when they were arguing because she picked up a TV and threw it in his face. Bam! Cut his eye open. And I was in between them, and he hit my mother in her teeth. I fell down to the floor with her and picked her teeth up off the floor. So that, in my mind, is like seeing a woman get punched. Is like, how could I hurt you with my words if my uncle didn't hurt my mother? My mother didn't cry when he punched her either. I never forgot that. That was in 1975, somewhere in there. My mother passed away in 2012 from her crack addiction and never got her teeth fixed, ever. That's a whole different story. But I used to think then, okay, if my mother didn't cry, if I don't hit a woman, I'm not hurting her. So this is how men and women are stuck in their childhood, being mentally paralyzed from their childhood, And so, yeah, thank you for listening. I just want to explain to you, because I'm talking about how people are mentally stuck and 10 years old at 40 years old, 10 years old mentally at 40 years old. This is how it happens. This is what happened. This is what happened to me. All right. You have a great day. Thank you for listening.